Friends, in this video, we'll discuss 5 important burning GST issues of April 26, which might impact the taxpayers in the upcoming months. We'll also discuss on an important custom scheme for manufacturers, which might help in reduction of cost for the manufacturers. On the GST front, to get started, the most important issue is a GST network advisory in Jan and Feb on cross utilization of ITC. The advisory has said that in case there is an IGST liability, then first it has to be set off against the entire IGST ITC. In case a further IGST liability is left, then CGST ITC or SGST ITC can be utilized in any manner, which means that it was against the proviso of section 49 subsection 5 clause C, which said that an IGST liability has to be first set off against CGST ITC. Only after CGST ITC is fully exhausted, then SGST ITC can be set off against IGST liability. Now, suddenly in April 26, we see on the portal this utility for implementing this GST and advisory that has been withdrawn. So, the issue is that those taxpayers, and there were thousands of them, who has taken the benefit of this advisory in the month of March for filing the return of the period February 26, would they be cast with interest and penalty demands? Because mind that on the advisory itself, it was disclaimed that the advisory was only for educational purposes and the GST law would prevail. That advisory, in our view, being contradictory to clause C of section 49(5), would certainly not be valid and non-est. It is requested by trade before the GST Council to come out with a further advisory and clarification to ease this situation. On the input tax credit front, the biggest issue for taxpayers is the ineligibility or the challenge of the input tax credit which is availed due to the non-compliance by the suppliers. The department invokes section 16 subsection 2 clause C that the supplier has not paid the ITC or the GST to the government, and therefore the recipient's ITC would be denied. Already we have seen that the Guwahati High Court in the case of McLeod Russell and in the case of National Plasto Molds, the Tripura High Court in the case of Sahil Enterprises have read down section 16 to C to the extent to allow the benefit of ITC to bona fide recipients who can prove that they are not hand in gloves with the suppliers. Now, the Honorable Karnataka High Court has also come into the picture in the case of Instacart Services Private Limited. It has also preferred to read down 16 to C to allow the input tax credit to the bona fide recipients even in case the supplier has non-complied with the provisions of the GST law. Another brewing issue of GST ITC is the ineligibility or eligibility of ITC on leasehold of land, which is used for the construction of factory building and thereafter supplying of goods by manufacturing them. Now, the department in the advance ruling in the case of Agratus Energy Storage Solutions has held that the input tax credit for the GST paid on lease rental for land used for the purpose of construction of factory building would not be allowed as per section 17(5)(d), which blocks the input tax credit on input services used for the purpose of construction. In our view, and also as argued and not negated by the Honorable Advanced Ruling Authority in the case of Tata Engineering and Locomotives Limited, the Honorable Supreme Court has held that the word for is very narrow. It should not be broadened like in relationship to. So, the words used in 17(5)(d) is the input services used for the purpose of construction and not input services used in relation to the construction. Therefore, in my view, the input tax credit on the leasehold of land for the purpose of construction of factory building for manufacturing operations and furtherance of business should be available to the taxpayers. However, how the department and the court would interpret it is something which we need to wait and watch. Next, on the big change and big relaxation for GST taxpayers, the GST taxpayers who are intermediaries, if you are an agent, a broker, etc. in India who is rendering services of an intermediary outside India to clients, then from 30th of March, after the notification of Finance Act 2026, no GST at 18% need to be paid for rendering intermediary services to outside clients. On the other hand, the input and input services used for the purpose of providing these intermediary services, they would be refundable, being the output supply considered as export of services. Now, after 30th of March, another question which comes as a transitional question once we move out from the old to the new space in this intermediary space is, what about the earlier demands? What about the earlier refunds filed? Or what about the GST paid in the earlier period on deletion of 13(8)(b) of the IGST Act without a saving clause? Well, this and these other issues would be settled going forward, and taxpayers can take positions as they might consider as a legal position. On the other hand, in case you are receiving the services of intermediaries who are located outside India, you have to start paying RCM on the same. So, the contracts and the GST compliances for intermediaries need to be re-looked at. The transitional phase, the litigations, demands, refunds, etc. need to be re-looked at also. Friends, after the amendment of section 34 of the CGST Act and the deletion or the withdrawal of circular 212, now in case you as a recipient receive a GST credit note from your supplier and you allow the GST credit note to flow to your GSTR 2B from your IMS, then you would be duty bound to reverse the input tax credit corresponding, because now there is a machinery for the issuers of the credit note to ensure that the recipients of the credit note have reversed the ITC. They can always argue that since the recipient has not rejected the credit note on the IMS portal, therefore it is considered to be accepted and therefore the department cannot come to them. So, as a recipient, you need to be very careful with the credit notes which come in your IMS. There is a new IMS tool, an Excel based tool, which now allows you even to be offline and take such actions of accept, delete, keep pending, etc. So, you might do it offline, which was a big issue for the taxpayers, that they had to go up online every time they had to use the IMS. However, even now you have to do line by line, accept, reject, keep pending, and the actions you need to take line by line. As of now, there is no bulk accept or bulk delete option. On the customs front, as we had discussed in our earlier video, The eligible manufacturer importer scheme is now on from 1st April 2026. You can see on your screen a sample certificate which we have generated on 1st April 2026 only for a manufacturer importer. All the manufacturers should take the benefit of this scheme to reduce their cost. Once you get registered in this scheme, then you can pay your customs duty also like GST only once in a month. So, for the imports and bill of entries filed during a month, you need to pay the customs duty only on the 1st of the next month, and for the month of March on 31st of March. This allows saving of interest, and also it reduces the clearance time from the port. All the manufacturers should take the benefit of this scheme, and the eligibility norms are very simple. All manufacturers who have been GST registered for 2 years and who have filed 25 bill of entry or shipping bills, and some other conditions are there. So, these manufacturers can take the benefit of this scheme. By and large, all the MSMEs who have been GST registered for 2 years and who are carrying on business as per legal terms, they can take the benefit of this scheme. So friends, these are the certain issues in GST and the customs scheme which you can take advantage of. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.